Hello everyone, welcome to the new session of Cultivation Practices of Onion, Tomato and Brinjal. And this is the second part of this particular topic. And in this session, we are going to study about uh, tomato. So in this session, we will have an introduction to tomato crop, and then what type of soil and climate is required for the cultivation of tomato that we are going to study about. And after that, we will see the different varieties of tomatoes that are generally grown. Then we will discuss about the method of planting of tomato and what is the time for the irrigation and what type of irrigation we can adapt for this particular crop. And also there will be a discussion on the weed control method. And at the last, we will study about the harvesting of tomato. So let us start this. Tomato. Scientific name Lycopersicum esculentus. So the scientific name of tomato is Lycopersicum esculentus, and it is an annual or short-leaved perennial pubescent herb and grayish green colored uneven pinnate leaves. So it is having the pinnate leaves. Pinna means compound, a type of compound leaves, and it is a perennial pubescent herb, right? Short-lived, quite short-lived. The flowers are of white, bearing fruits which are red or yellow in color. So the flowers of this particular flower is quite off white in color, and fruits are red or yellow in color. So initially it is green, then it becomes quite yellow in color, and then later becomes red in color. It is self-pollinated crop. So self-pollination is seen in the case of tomato. The major tomato producing states are Maharashtra, Bihar, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, and Assam. So these are some of the states in which the tomato are grown. Now, the type of soil that is required by the tomato. So tomato can be grown on a wide range of soil from the sandy to heavy. So different types of soil. This particular plant is grown in different types of soil, and it can vary from very sandy soil to the heavy clayey soil. However, well-drained, sandy or red loam soils rich in organic matter with a pH of 6 to 7 are considered as ideal. So you can see the pH range that lies between 6 to 7. That is quite acidic in pH, right? And it is well-drained, means the water should be there in the soil. Well drained, sandy or red loamy soils which is rich in organic matter is the optimum for this particular crop, and the pH should be in between 6 to 7. Climate. The tomato is a warm season crop. So the season for this particular crop is required, that is quite warm season, and the best fruit color and the quality is obtained at a temperature range of 21 to 24 degrees centigrade. So this is the temperature at which you can find the quality and the best fruit color, means the fruit color of this particular crop become best at this particular temperature. This is the temperature at which you can have a best color fruit, and the quality of the fruit is also very good. So the temperature above 32 degrees centigrade adversely affect the fruit set and the development. So you can see here the temperature is a very important factor for the setup of a fruit, and it also determines the quality of the fruit, right? And you can see here the 32 degrees centigrade, the temperature above 32 degrees centigrade will not get you, you can say, a good quality of the fruit, right? The plant cannot withstand the frost and high humidity. So high humidity is not required for this, and even the frost condition. At this condition, the plant cannot withstand, and it requires low to medium rainfall. So for the better growth of this crop plant, we require low to medium type of rainfall. Bright sunshine at the time of fruit setup helps to develop dark red color fruit. So the fruit color become dark red in color, right? in the bright sunshine. Temperature below 10 degrees centigrade adversely affect the plant tissue, thereby slowing down physiological activities. So again, at the 10 below 10 degrees centigrade, temperature is not good for the growth of the plant, and above 32 is also not good for the growth of the plant. So lower temperature as well as higher temperature is not good for the growth of the plant, and it adversely affect the plant tissue as well. Now, there are the some of the different varieties that has been grown for this tomatoes. So, some of the varieties that are released by IARI, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, that is Pusa Rohini. So, this is one of the important, you can say, the variety that has been released by the IARI for the tomato crop. Pusa Sadabahar, Pusa Hybrid 8, Pusa Hybrid 4, Pusa Upahar, Pusa Hybrid 2, and Siox. These are some of the varieties of tomato that has been released by the IARI. Now, released by IIHR, Arka Vikas, Arka Saurabh, Arka Meghali, Arka Ahuti, Arka Ashish, Arka Abha, Arka Alok, Arka Vishal, Arka Vardhan, Arka Shresht, and Arka Abhijit. These are some of the varieties that has been released by IIHR. Here are some of the varieties that has been released by PAU, that is Kesari, Punjab, Chohara, S12, Cell 152, PAU 2372, and released by GB Pantnagar. Okay, so Pantnagar, there is an institute, university that releases Pant T10, AC 238, and Pant T3. These are the some of the varieties that has been released by the Pant University. And then others are H24, H86, Pusa Early Dwarf, CO3, CO1, and PT12. These are some of the varieties of the different varieties of the tomato crop. Okay, after this, there is a nursery bed preparation. So now, for the growth or the cultivation of the crop, you need a proper growth seedlings, right? So the tomato seeds are sown on the nursery beds to raise seedlings for the transplanting in the field. So best quality seeds are taken and it is sown in the nursery. Now from the nursery, you will have some of the seedlings that will be transplanted in the field. So raised beds of size 3 into 0.6 meter and 10 to 15 centimeter in height are prepared, right? For this, we are having a raised bed size that is the 3 into 0.6 meter and 10 to 15 centimeter is the height. And in this particular height, the seeds are sown and the seedlings are grown. Now, about 70 centimeter distance is kept between two beds to carry out operations of watering, weeding, etc. Okay. Now, about 70 centimeter distance we keep between the two beds. So, suppose this is the one bed and this is the second bed. Now, the distance between the two bed must be 70 centimeter, right? So that you can carry out proper watering, weeding, okay? Because some of the weeds are also comes out along with the seedlings, so that you have to remove out. And also you can proper water to the plants. So there is a way to do all these activities. And for that we keep out this 70 centimeter distance in between the two plots. Now, the surface of the bed should be smooth and well leveled. So, the surface, this surface of the, so that the proper growth of the plant should be there. There should not be any damage of the seeds, right? And it should be level. Then you will have all the seedlings at of the same height. So, this is the operation that one should do at the nursery bed preparation. Now, add sieved farmyard manure and fine sand on the seed bed. So, this is the way you prepare the seed bed, right? So, raised beds are necessary to avoid problems of waterlogging in the heavy soil. So, problems of waterlogging, to avoid the problems of waterlogging, the raised beds are necessary. So, the beds that is prepared, that should be quite at a height, right? So, that is called as raised beds, and that is very necessary to avoid the problems of waterlogging, right? So, this is done at the nursery bed preparation. Now, in the sandy soil, however, sowing can be taken up in the flat beds. Now, this is done in the heavy soil, whereas in the sandy soil, when you are having the sandy soil, then you can prepare flat beds, right? But if you are having the heavy soil, then you have to prepare raised beds. To avoid mortality of the seedlings due to the damping off. Now, that this damping off is a disease that is caused by the fungus, right? This Pythium, Phytophthora, these are some of the fungus which causes the damping of seedlings. Means at this time of seedlings, the plants droop out, and that is due to the fungus, Pythium, Phytophthora, etc. Right? And that particular disease is called as damping off. Drench the seed bed first with water and then with bevestine. So, to avoid this damping off, what you should do? You should keep the bed wet by watering it and then put bevestine, right? So, this bevestine is to avoid the damping of disease, right? Seeds are sown in June, July, right? Seeds are sown in the month of June, July for the autumn winter crop. And for spring summer crop, seeds are sown in November. So if it is a summer crop, then you can sown it in the November. And if it is in the autumn, then you can put this seeds in the month of June and July. The hill seed are sown in the March and April. And if it is you are growing this particular crop plant in the case of a hilly region, then the sowing of the seed is done in the month of March and April. About 250 to 300 gram of seeds are sufficient for raising seedling for 1 hectare of land. So, this much amount of seeds you require, that is 250 to 300 gram of seeds, right? 250 to 300 gram of seeds, it is quite sufficient for raising the seedling for 1 hectare of land. So, for the 1 hectare of a land, we require this much amount of seeds. Prior to sowing, seeds are treated with the fungal culture, that is the Trichoderma viridi. So, this is a culture of the fungus, right? So, this is a, you can say, the bio-treated, right? So, it is treated with this fungi and extract of this fungi, and or you can use thiram, that is 2 kg per kg of seeds, to avoid damage from the damping of disease. So, this particular Trichoderma viridi, it remove out the fungus that causes the damping of disease, right? So, that is the biocontrol method. Sowing should be done thinly in the lines spaced at the 10 to 15 centimeter distance. So, we can sow this seed by spacing of 10 to 15 centimeter distance in between the plants, right? So that there should be a proper growth of each plant. Now, seeds are sown at the depth of 2 to 3 centimeter and covered with the fine layer of soil, followed by the light watering by the water. So, when you are having seeds, it should be sown deep 2 to 3 centimeter and it should be covered with the fine layer of soil and light water it. And in this way, you can prepare the raising of the seedlings. The bed should be then covered with a dry straw or a grass or a sugarcane leaves to maintain the required temperature and the moisture. So when you are doing at this particular uh, raising of the seedling thing, then you should cover it. The bed should be covered with the dry straw or a grass or a sugarcane leaves to maintain the temperature, and as well as the moisture should not be get out of that soil. So moisture will be trapped there, temperature will be maintained, and in this way the seedlings are grown. The watering should be done by the water can as per the need till the germination is completed, right? So watering should be done by water. You should water it, right? And this can be done till the germination is completed. So watering is a very, very crucial step for the raising of seedlings. The cover of dry straw or a grass is removed immediately after the germination is complete, right? So we can cover it with the dry straw or a grass. Okay, and that should be removed immediately after the germination, when after the germination is completed. So once the germination is completed, we can remove that straw or the grass. During the last week in nursery, the seedlings may be hardened by slightly withholding water. So the seedling with 5 to 6 true leaves are ready for the transplanting within 4 of sowing. So when the trees are having, when the seedlings which is having just 5 to 6 true leaves, they can be easily transplanted to for the sowing, right? So this is the very, very important step. Land preparation. Now once it is prepared in the you can say the nursery, then it should be placed in the land. How it is done? The field is plowed to fine tilth by giving 4 to 5 plowing with a sufficient interval between the two plowing, right? So field is plowed by fine tilth by giving 4 to 5 plowing. So 4 to 5 times the plowing is done, so that all the nutrient which is present below should come to the upper. And this plowing is very, very important because it tilts the soil and also the soil get aerated. The planking should be done for the proper leveling. Furrows are then opened at the recommended spacing. The ridges and furrows are made at the proper gaps in between the soil. And well composed farmyard manure, that is 25 ton per hectare, is thoroughly incorporated at the time of land preparation. So this farmyard manure is thoroughly incorporated at the time of land preparation. Spacing. Spacing depends upon the type of variety grown and the season of planting. So spacing is very, very important step. Normally, the seedlings are transplanted at a spacing of 75 into 90 and 45 into 60 centimeter. So this is the spacing is very important because all the plants will get the proper sunlight, proper nutrients, right? So they will not compete for each other. So it should, this spacing should be followed while planting the plant at the land. Now, method of planting. Seedlings are transplanted into furrows, in the light soil and on side of the ridges in the case of heavy soil. So when the it is a heavy soil, then it should be placed on the side of the ridges, and when it is transplanted in the furrows or the light soil, then it is on the ridges, right? Pre-soaking irrigation is given 3 to 4 days prior to the transplanting. So pre-soaking irrigation means the before irrigation it is done, pre-soaking irrigation, and that is done before 3 to 4 days prior to the transplanting. So before transplanting, 3 to 4 days you can have a proper irrigation. Now before planting, seedlings should be dipped in a solution prepared by Novacron 15 ml and diethane M4525 gram in 10 liters of water for 5 to 6 minutes, right? Transplanting should be preferably done in the evening so that it should not get damaged by the heat of the sun. Weed control. Now, this is very, very important. Along with the plant, some weed also grow. So, the field should be kept weed free, especially in the initial stage of the plant growth, as weed compete with the crop and reduce the yield drastically. So, they compete for the nutrient, for the water availability, for the sunlight, right? And it reduces the yield of the crop if they are grown along with the weed. So the weed is a very, very important and it should be removed. Frequent shallow cultivation should be done at regular intervals so as to keep the field free from the weeds and to facilitate soil aeration and the proper root development. So shallow cultivation should be done, right? And regular intervals, proper intervals of the plant should be maintained, and the weed should be removed properly so that they should not compete for the proper root development as well as the nutrient supply from the soil. Deep cultivation is injurious because of the damage of roots and exposure of the moist soil to the surface. 2, 3 hoeing and earthing above are required to keep the crop free from the weeds. So, with the help of hoeing, 2, 3 hoeing, we can earth up and we can remove those weeds. Pre-emergence application of Bacilline and pendimethalin coupled with one hand weeding, that is 45 days after transplanting, is effective control of weed. So these are some of the weedicides that can be used right before the pre-emergence. Crop rotation. Tomato should not be grown successively on the same field. At a break of at least 1 year is required between the planting of tomatoes or other solanaceous crops like chilies, brinjals, capsicum, potato, tobacco, etc. Or the cucurbits may other vegetables. So this is a type of crop rotation we can follow. We should not grow a tomato in the same field every year. The crop which can be grown after the tomatoes are as follows. Cereals. These are some of the crops that can be grown. Rice, corn, sorghum, wheat, millets. Okay. Or cruciferous plant like cabbage, cauliflower and kohlrabi. Or radish, watermelon, onion, garlic, groundnut, cotton, safflower, sunflower, sesame, sugar beet and marigold. These plants can be also grown at the crop rotation method. Some intercropping plants are also there. So tomato is well fitted with a different cropping system of the cereals, grains, pulses and oil seeds. Cropping systems like rice tomato, rice with maize, okra potato tomato, tomato with onion, or the popular in the various parts of India. Spinach and radish can also be grown as intercropping with tomato. Due to the tall habit and having bearing the nature of the hybrid, staking is essential. So staking facilities is the intercultural operation and helps to maintain the quality of the fruit. So this staking is very important to maintain the quality of the fruits, and it is done 2 to 3 weeks after the transplanting. So staking can be done either by the wooden stakes or laying overhead wires on which the individual plant is tied. So in case of indeterminate types, 2 or 3 wires are stretched parallel to each other along the row and the plantets are tied to these wires. Irrigation. Tomato is very sensitive to the water applications. Heavy irrigation provided after the long spell of the drought causes cracking of the fruit. So heavy water should be avoided. This is very, very crucial. Irrigation is very crucial for this particular crop and hence it should be avoided. Light irrigation should be given 3 to 4 days after the transplanting. So when it is transplanted from nursery bed to the land, then after 3 to 4 days after the transplanting, it should be light irrigation. Irrigation interval should be according to the soil type, right? And rainfall. Irrigation should be given 7 to days interval during the Kharif, during Rabi 10 to 12 days, and 5 to 6 days during the summer season, according to the soil and according to the season in which we are growing this particular crop. Flowering and fruiting development are the critical stages of tomato. Therefore, water stress should not be given during the period. Manuring and fertilization. So the fertilizer dose depends upon the fertility of the soil and amount of organic manure applied to the crop. For a good yield, 15 to 20 tons of well decomposed farmyard manure is incorporated into the soil, and generally uh, application of 120 kg of nitrogen, 80 kg of phosphorus pentoxide, and 50 kg of potassium oxide per hectare is recommended for getting the optimum yield. So these are some of the fertilizers that we can use. And half dose of nitrogen and full dose of potassium and phosphorus given at the time of planting. The balance half of nitrogen is given as a top dressing 30 days after the transplanting. For hybrid varieties, the recommended dose per hectare is 180 kg for the nitrogen, 100 kg for the phosphorus pentoxide, and 60 kg for the potassium oxide. 60 kg of nitrogen and half of P and K, means phosphorus and potassium, are given at the time of transplanting. Remaining quantities of phosphorus and potassium and 60 kg of nitrogen is top dressed and 30 after the transplanting. A third dose of 60 kg of nitrogen is applied 50 days after the transplanting. Nursery. Raise marigold tall African variety golden age bearing yellow and orange flower nursery 15 to 20 days after the tomatoes nursery, and 1 week after the germination of seed spray the seedling with the imidacloprid 200 SL at the rate 0.3 ml per liter, or thiomethoxam 25 WP at 0.3 gram per liter. So this is done in the case of nursery. And before transplanting, apply neem cake, that is 250 kilogram per hectare ridges at the time of preparing land, and dip the roots of seedling with imidacloprid 200 SL 0.3 ml or thiomethixom 25 at the rate 0.3 gram per liter for 5 minutes. These are some of the chemical treatment. Now harvesting. Depending on the variety, fruits become ready for first picking on about 60 to 70 days. So after 60 to 70 days, first harvesting can be done. The stage of harvesting depend upon the purpose to which the fruits are to be used, and the different stages of harvesting are as follows. Dark green in color means the fruit is at the time it is dark green in color. So dark green color is charged with the reddish pink shade is observed on the fruit. So at that time we can do the harvesting. Fruits to be shipped after the harvested at this stage, and fruits are then sprayed with the ethylene 48 hours prior to the shipping. So when the fruit at this condition the fruits can be shipped. And immature green tomatoes will ripe poorly and of the low quality. A simple way to determine the maturity is to slice the tomato with the spark knife. If seeds are cut, the fruit is too immature for the harvest and will not ripen properly. Now, breaker stage. Second stage is the breaker stage. Dim pink color observed on 1/4 part of the fruit, and fruits are harvested at this stage that ensures the best quality. So this can be asked in the examination. Breaker stage of the tomato is the best for the harvesting. Such fruits are less prone to the damage during the shipment and often fetch a higher price than less mature tomatoes. Pink stage, that is the third type. Pink color observed on the 3 to 4 part of the fruit. And the reddish pink fruits are stiff and nearly whole. Fruit turns reddish pink, and fruits are local sale and harvested. So such type of fruits are available for the local stage. Fully ripe fruits are fully ripe and soft, having the dark red color, and such fruits are used for the processing. So this is all about this session. Thank you very much.